How's it going, all you lovely little weirdos? I am Globaloutcast, and that is my co-host.
TheAnimeShogun.
And if any of you, just a little heads up, if any of you didn't catch the short little video that we made, or I made, um, some stuff happened last month, or towards the end of November, and I had to take a month off to mourn the death of a person. But no, uh, let's get this shit started. Today we are finally talking about the last of the Lord of the Rings movie, Return of the King. Do you have any favorite moments? Let's start off with a classic.
Um, ooh, there's a lot of good moments that I like.
Now, if you
For
want
me,
okay.
I'd have to say, holy shit. Yeah, don't mind that. Sorry, I just looked outside to see how windy it was. Anyway, so yeah, for me the biggest thing is when they're at Helm's Deep. If I remember correctly, at the end of 2,
Yep.
it was Gandalf and a bunch of the Rohirrim were riding down the hill.
Yep.
But it wasn't so much that. Like, I liked when they were coming down the hill and facing the orcs like that.
Hmm.
I liked it. But for me, the bigger part that I really enjoyed was more of when Aragorn was like, ride out with me. Ride out and meet them. And Gimli's on the fucking horn.
Yep.
That, and continuing from that, it's not exactly the same part, but for the biggest part that I liked at the start of the movie was literally Legolas and Gimli at the after. Hold on. Whew. Ugh. Being sick is not fun.
It is not.
Stay in school, kids. Don't do drugs. No, it's when Legolas and them they're talking about their count at Helm's Deep.
That was an amazing moment.
And Gimli had a higher count number than 1. And Legolas shoots a bow and he matches the number. I don't remember what the number was, but he matches the number with Gimli. He's like 32 or 33, whatever the number
I
was.
think it was 43.
Something. And he's like, he was twitching. And Gimli's like, I know he was twitching. I would hope he's twitching. He's got my axe buried into his head. And as he's doing that, he's got his hand on the axe, moving it, and you just see the leg and the arm are twitching.
Yep.
For anybody who doesn't know, you can see that part in the extended versions. You won't see it in the theatrical versions.
No, you will not. My favorite moment, one of my favorite moments, is when you see, like, after the initial battle with the city in white. I forget the city's name.
Minas Tirith.
Thank you. And you see Gimli just sitting on the throne and everything like that, and they're all just chilling. And they're like, well, we have to go make sure Frodo and all that get to Mount
Small
Doom.
chance of success. It's Gimli's little
Small
speech.
chances.
He's like, certain
death.
Small chance of success.
Certain death.
A certain chance of victory. Certain death.
What are we waiting for? That is by far my favorite line. Because I'm sitting there like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. That is by far.
My other favorite moment is when they're all hanging out in Rohan.
Yep.
And Gondor sees the beacon lit. And he just throws his cup of soup, I think it is. And he runs and he's like, Gondor calls for aid! Gondor calls for aid!
The line that launched 1,000 memes.
Rohan will answer.
The line that launched 1,000 memes.
The beacons are lit! The beacons are lit! Gondor calls for aid!
I'm not wrong!
No. But that one always cracked me up. Give me your second one.
My second favorite one is actually also a fun fact. Samwise is the only person to injure the giant Yeah, Shelob, the giant spider.
Shelob.
Yep,
Shelob the giant spider.
yep. By far, one of my favorite scenes is when you find out Samwise has just been following those Frodo and Gollum because he doesn't trust the little bastard. I mean, why would you? And eventually, he ends up saving Frodo. I love that one. I love that scene because it shows how much of a good friend Samwise was.
Well, yeah, because after she had stabbed him in the stomach, and he got picked up by the orcs of Minas Morgul
Yep.
and got sent there, he actually followed. And let's not forget the fact that he was wiping orcs off of the fucking map with a pan.
Yep.
He
Sam.
used a sword. He used Sting, which I think they lost Sting because I think he stabbed an orc with Sting. No, it was a different sword. I think
Yeah.
it was one of his elvish swords.
Yeah.
He stabbed in, pushed him off. Then he pulls out a fucking pan, and starts beating the fuck out of orcs with pans. Like, fuck you. That pan is about as deadly as a fucking sword.
Hey, don't mess with Samwise. Or
Yeah, he was especially, and I'm surprised you didn't bring this up when Frodo comes back from being stabbed, and he's looking for the ring. And he's freaking out, and the guy and one of the orcs is like, "I'm gonna stick you like a something," whatever reference he makes. And Samwise just out of nowhere, you just see Sting popping through the orc's chest. He's like, "Not if I gut you first."
yep. That one was another good line. Like that entire scene was amazing. Then doesn't
My
soon after
Go
doesn't he
ahead.
soon after doesn't he carry up Frodo a little bit up to the mountain because Sting.
Yeah, he puts he like put does like I think it's a fireman carry where you're over to the shoulders,
Yeah.
and he's carrying him out of Minas Morgul until he gets closer to Mordor.
Yeah.
And when he does, they drop their gear and they throw on like tiny, or I don't want to say orcs because orcs are supposed to be big, but
Yeah.
they're not like goblins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to say, yeah, I guess you could say orcs because they do have different versions of orcs. Because you've got mountain orcs, you've got your like Mordor orcs, which I think are smaller than your mountain orcs. You've got your Urukai, which is a crossbreed of elves and orcs. So yeah, I guess you could say orcs in general, but that's just too bland. But yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. Where are we at? Did I do two already?
Yeah.
No, I did my one, didn't I?
No, you did too, because you talked about um, the Helm's Deep. You talked about the
Yep, the
Rohan.
kill count.
Yep, and the kill
Well,
count.
okay, let me take that back. The whole Gondor calls for aid wasn't necessarily my second one. It was just more of like one that I wanted to throw out there as kind of like one, it launched a huge meme,
Hmm.
but two, it was a pretty good moment. Like it really cracked me up. Not like ha ha, but the whole Gondor calls for aid, and then later finding out that that became a huge trend of a meme
That still goes
was
over my
just
head.
hilarious.
Oh, it is.
Wouldn't sit there and say that was my second one. My second one actually, hands down, would have to be when Rohan is getting ready, when they're all at the camp out in the mountains and they're riding
Hmm.
on the way to Gondor.
Hmm.
And Aragorn, and this is in the extended, it's not in the theatrical, but it's in the extended. Gondor sees, or not Gondor, duh. Aragorn sees the King of the Dead.
Yep.
So he's making his way to go out there, to go through the mountain pass, to go into the catacombs of the dead. And as he goes in there, Legolas stops him. And this is going to be a little lengthy, so bear with me. But Legolas stops him. He's like, basically, where are you going? I'm sorry, Legolas, you can't come with me. Oh, well, basically tell him to that. You know, tell that to him. And you see Gimli sitting there like, sorry, laddie, we're going with ya.
Yep. But yep.
And they go in there, and Gimli's just dumbfounded because Gimli turns around. He's like, "An elf will go underground where a dwarf where a dwarf dare not." Oh, what's wrong with this? They go
I remember
running
that
in
scene.
there.
I remember that scene.
Yep. They go running in there. They finally make it to what turns out to be kind of like the Hall of the Dead. It's the catacombs, and it looks like it's been hollowed out for people to live underground,
Hmm.
but then it turns into like an emerald city,
Yeah.
and the dead pop out, and the dead's like, none but the king of Gondor can command me. And you just see Aragorn pull out the blade, grabs the dead by the throat, and he's like, it has been remade.
Yep. I
And the
remember
look on
that.
his face is like, fucking try me, bitch.
That was gonna be
Cracks
my. That
me.
was gonna be my third one right there. What you're talking about.
Well, so like I said, this is going to be a little lengthy because I liked that part. But then at the very end of that, and I only found this in the extended version. I didn't find this in the theatrical. A lot of my references are going to be more from the extended version than the theatrical version
That's good.
because
That's
you
better.
see a lot more in the extended. I love the extended. Extended is better.
Yeah, extended is better than theatrical.
But
Theatrical's still
yes,
good, but you just miss out on a whole lot.
theatrical was Hallmark. Extended is God tier. Okay. So anyway, as they get out, they go through this little cave, and you don't see that, but you see them coming out of like this cave system
Hmm.
because there's just this big thing, and they come out, and then you see the actual the black ships of the Corsairs,
Yep.
and you see this whole thing of Legolas is he's like Legolas kind of stopped them. Legolas goes to shoot, and Gimli. I think this was either when they got no. It was either right after the caves or when they got to Gondor. No, it was before. Now that I think about it, Gimli had tapped the bow, and Aragorn basically just said, shoot a warning. And Gimli tapped the bow. I think he pushed or something. And when he did, Legolas's aim was off, and he killed one of the Corsairs. And they're like, what the fuck? And Aragorn looks and he's like, oh, just shakes his head because he knows what's going on. But then they go running towards the shore to get on the ships, and you just see the dead follow.
Yep. I remember
Because
that
the
scene.
dead's got to get on the ships anyway. Because then, after that, and that's why I said this is going to be lengthy, when they got to it and all the orcs from Osgiliath, because I believe, yeah, that's the city across from Minas Tirith,
Hmm.
is Osgiliath. And all the orcs come out and they're like, "Come on, you Sea Rex! Come on, you're talking about the Corsairs." And Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli just jump over, and the orcs are like, "Oh, we can take these guys." They start charging, and the dead come following after. The orcs like, "Oh no, 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 no! Run away, run away!"
Yep.
Like it turned into the whole, "Oh, we got this. Turn around and fuck around and find out" situation.
Yep. That entire scene
So
was
that was a
amazing.
little lengthy, but that was my second favorite.
I was actually gonna mention that ship part with the ghosts as my third favorite.
Oh,
But
sorry, I stole that from you.
oh, you're fine. You're fine. The entire movie is my favorite part. All right.
Well,
But
too bad you can't use that.
my third favorite part, I think, would have to be probably fuck. What was it? Oh, when Gandalf comes into Minas Tirith, and he thinks that one dude, um, his last son is dead, the one that he didn't like. Mm,
Yes, Denethor.
yeah,
Denethor. He is the steward of Gondor. He's not the king or the
yeah,
ruler. He's the steward.
and he thinks his son is dead. And what was I think it was. I think it was Took.
Nobody's gonna know that name, dude. Mary is, I believe, the one that
Yeah, was it?
Mary is with Rohan. Here, let me explain this to you, so that way you could use it to explain your story. Mary is with Rohan because Mary is with the one chick that's disguised as a shield maiden.
That's disguised as a man. Yeah.
Well, that's why I said shield maiden because that's technically if you play one of the games, if you play Battle for Middle Earth 2, one of my favorite games, her class is technically classified as a shield maiden.
Yeah.
But yes, she is disguised as a Rohirrim, as a male Rohirrim.
Hmm.
But Mary is with her because if you remember correctly, Mary fights the Witch King of Agmar.
Yep.
Pippin is the one with Gondor because Pippin is the one that sings.
Yep. But
The only way I remember that is because Pippin is always the one that shouts Mary, and Mary is the one that looks, I want to say, older. Like Pippin looks more soft and shorter.
yeah, yeah. But he ran up to Gandalf and he goes, "He's not dead." And then Gandalf comes in and just
Yeah,
knocks him the fuck out. What the fuck are you doing? In layman's
yeah.
terms.
Hits him in the face with the staff, and then literally just fucking takes the bottom end of it and just fucking staff hits him.
Yeah, pretty much. I have to say that is by far my third favorite scene, just because it shows that Gandalf is willing to fuck people up for not listening to him.
Oh yeah, my third one. My third favorite scene is when the elephants are marching on Mordor.
That still only counts as one.
Yep. Legolas took down one elephant and he's sliding down the trunk of it. He looks at Gimli, cocks his head, and Gimli just smirks back at him. That still only counts as one.
Yep.
And
That's
then as
another amazing scene.
Aragorn's like, what's one of my favorites is Gimli's little, that still only counts as one. And that leads up to the whole, what you were doing with Gimli's whole certain chance of death, small chance of success. Well, what are we waiting for? For me, I like the fact that Legolas slid down it and Gimli's like, that still only counts as one. Excuse me.
Yep.
That I thought was great. And it was also when Aragorn lets the dead go and Gimli's like, that was a bad move, laddie. Could really use him in a tight spot.
Yeah.
But then I think my to end of my favorite one, and this ties into it in my opinion, is the very end.
Oh.
In the extended version, the mouth of Sauron comes out.
Mm.
The
Okay.
mouth, because he has no eyes, and he's wearing a helmet, almost like the Witch King of Agmar. But there's no eye cutouts and no helmet. It's literally just the mouth, and he
Okay.
speaks. The mouth comes out when literally all of the small band of men are literally at the Black Gate.
Okay.
The mouth comes out and he wants to talk to somebody. Aragorn rides up, and the mouth, and they because I think Aragorn had either Merry or Pippin on the back. I don't remember. And the mouth had said something. And they were like, no. They were like, well, we want you to know the half pint died at a very gruesome death, and to show proof, he had the chainmail that Frodo was wearing from like the first movie, the mithril vest.
Yep, I remember that.
Okay, you went silent, so I was kind of like, okay, you following me? And he
Sorry.
throws it to Aragorn, and as soon as he hands it, or as soon as he pulls it out, Merry or Pippin are like, that's Frodo's. And the mouth turns and kind of looks at him, and he's like, ah, yes, the half pint died a very gruesome death. Whatever, which pissed Aragorn off. And Aragorn, without even reacting, pulls out the sword, cuts off the head of the mouth of Sauron. And he's like, well, that ends negotiations. Ugh. And then as he's riding back, and they're like thinking, okay, get ready for a fight, and the gates open up, and all the horses are gone. Aragorn starts charging. He's like, for Frodo. But what I liked before that is the eye of Sauron literally shined on them.
Yep.
And he's like, he says in a very slow manner, Elendil. Aragorn's, basically ancestral name.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulls his sword down, he goes to turn. I don't remember who exactly. I think he was looking at all of them. and you hear very soft-spoken Aragorn, and he's like, "For Frodo," so he starts charging. Now, this part, I think you're going to agree with me, and you're going to laugh your ass off. Merry and Pippin, the shortest people in the fucking band, start charging. They make it like, I don't know, 10 steps, and then the rest of them start charging, so then they're getting buried in the crowd.
Yep, I remember that scene. I remember that scene. You just see two
Aragorn's
little people just,
charging out
yeah.
there. Yeah, you see these two short people just running out there, charging into battle. Then you see Gandalf, Gimli, and Legolas. They're all charging. Even Éomer's charging into it. And you just see these two short people kind of get enveloped into the crowd.
Yeah.
And Aragorn, the first thing I liked with Aragorn is he literally took his sword, smacked the spear out of the way, or turned around, did like a 360, and cut a dude in half. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Whenever I see that scene, like whenever someone posts that scene, I always think of that meme of like that old show Full House, and it shows that the youngest child, Michelle, wait for me, I got tiny legs, and then you just
Yep.
see, yeah, then you just see fucking Merry and Pippin just charge as fast as they fucking can. They just get swallowed up by the crowd.
Right.
Oh, that scene was amazing. There's an honorable mention I wanted that I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about. I can't fucking remember it.
Well, you better figure it out.
Do you have any honorable mentions that you would like to talk about?
Um, I will say that the very beginning, especially in the extended, you actually see a little bit more of Gollum's like origin story.
Yep. I do know in the book it's stated in like what the first chapter of the first book of Gollum's like history, but in the movie they waited till like the second and third, which honestly I think was a smart move.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, Return of the King by far was like one of my favorite movies. It was the one I watched literally the most.
Return of the King was the best, in my personal opinion. I like how it wrapped everything up in a nice little bow while still respecting the
Okay,
franchise.
so I just wanted to double check it because I was curious. The quote that you're referring to with Gimli, certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Yep, right there. He's sitting on the throne, smoking his pipe. By far one of my favorite
Um,
scenes.
Honorable mentions for me, I'd have to say, is literally when they crown Aragorn, and I believe it's at the very end,
Yep,
and he starts doing a song.
yep.
I thought that was very good.
I liked how he looked at his
Um,
friends and he goes, "You bow to no one."
yeah, all four of the hobbits go to bow to him because he's a king.
Yep,
And then he's like, because I'm looking at the quotes page, so that way, in case I make a mistake, I could quote myself. And he says to the hobbits, "My friends, you bow to no one." He bows, and the whole fucking kingdom bows.
yep,
And that's the very end, because that's when they're all safe.
yep. And that's when and then that's when it's starting to show like what they're doing nowadays, which I believe Frodo and Bilbo go off to the Undying Lands with
Yep,
Gandalf.
the elves. Yep, with Gandalf, Gandalf, Galadriel, and Elrond.
Yep. Um.
Because
Then.
I'm looking at the thing right now, and Galadriel says this: "The power of the three rings is ended. The time has come for the dominion of men." Elrond in Elvish says, "The sea calls us home," and he says that to Bilbo. Bilbo, smiling, says he thinks he's ready for quite another adventure. Because Bilbo is tainted by the ring.
Yep.
And Gandalf basically turns around and says to all the rest of the hobbits, "I'm sorry, it's my time has come. It's time for us to go," basically. And Gandalf says, "It is time, Frodo." And they were all so confused by it. But that being said, there are two other honorable mentions from that I really did enjoy.
What's that?
First one is the Witch King against Eowyn.
I am no man. Yep.
You fool, no man can kill me.
Yep.
Die now. She pulls off, I am no man. But what I liked is she stabbed him in the leg. No, she stabbed him in the head first because Pippin is actually, and a lot of people will say Eowyn killed the Witch King. Believe it or not, I think the way that they killed off the Witch King was a lot like the Achilles heel trend that they were doing a lot of.
Yeah.
Because technically, Mary stabs the Witch King in the back of the leg, kind of not exactly in the Achilles heel,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
but Mary literally stabs him and he falls to his knees. And then Eowyn stabs her sword into his head.
Yep.
So one could argue that Eowyn didn't kill the Witch King, that it was technically Mary.
Yeah.
But I will say that a little fucking hobbit took down the Witch King of Agmar. That was an honorable mention for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It really was.
The other one for me was when Rohan had shown up on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And Theoden is basically like, Eomer, take your flank down to the left side. Gamleen, follow the king's banner down the center. Grimbold, take your company right after you pass the wall. Forth, and fear no darkness. And he's basically chanting, he's like, arise, arise, riders of Theoden, spears shall be shaken, shields shall be splintered, a sword day, a red day, ere the sun rises, and they're all chanting death. And then Theoden's chant at the end is forth, Aerlingus.
Yeah.
That to me was a very good one. Just because Theoden's little like war cry chant really always gets me going, especially towards the end with the whole forth and fear no darkness.
Yeah.
Then he says their spears shall be shaken. Spears shall be shaken. Shields shall be splintered. It's a sword day, a red day.
Yeah.
Ride now, ride to ruin and the world's ending. And they're all. So then he says, forth, Aerlingus.
Yeah. Didn't Sauron get not Sauron, but Saruman get stabbed in the third one? I can't remember if it was the second or the third one.
I think it's so. I want to say it's the second one. Because technically, the war in the forest, in Fangorn Forest, and them invading Isengard with the Treants was the second one.
Return of the King.
Was it the third one?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Because when they originally showed up at Rohan, because it was, I think, after Helm's Deep.
Yeah. Because he gets stabbed by Wormtail.
Wormtongue.
Wormtongue.
Wormtail is Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Wormtongue is Lord of the Rings because his first name is Grima. Grima Wormtongue. Which, fun fact, our good Lord Saruman, all hail.
All hail.
Actually turned around and told the director, have you ever been stabbed before? Do you know what that sounds like?
Yep. That was when he wanted him to make a scream or something.
Yeah, he wanted him to do a say. He's like, have you ever been stabbed before? That's not what that sounds like.
The man knows what he's talking about. He's seen some shit, too.
Yeah, considering the fact that he's been in a rock band, he's been knighted, he's done a lot of iconic roles as movies, and he's been, what was it, World War I or World War II as a neo-Nazi hunter?
He was a Nazi hunter in World War II.
Thank you.
Man's seen some shit.
Yeah, he's seen a thing or two because he knows a thing or two. He's just not a farmer. Dun,
He's
dun, 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 dun. Please don't sue me.
he's the one Chuck Norris fears.
Yeah, everybody says Chuck Norris ain't got shit on this person. Well, Chuck Norris has pictures of Christopher Lee hanging up in his bedroom.
Also, fun fact for those who didn't know, Wormtongue, the guy who played Wormtongue, played Chucky.
Yeah, Grima. You can just say Grima in case you don't want to sit there and fight in Wormtail. Just call him Grima.
Well, his name is Brad Dourif, and I did not know that till much recently. Also, think it was Pippin who played his non-binary child in The Seed of Chucky.
Yeah,
And I
Andy
didn't know.
Serkis, our very own Schmiegel, has had a lot of iconic roles.
Oh yeah, well I didn't know that about. I didn't know he Wormtongue and I think it was Pippin played in the Chucky movies. I had no idea.
I knew Grima did. I didn't know about Pippin.
Yeah, there was a documentary on. I think it was Amazon Prime,
All right, I think we need to address the elephant in the room before we get off here.
which is.
The fact that Pippin starts singing
Yep. That.
while in the service of Denethor, because that is a very iconic song to anybody who's watched the movie.
Yes, it is, and it's such a sad scene. Just because it not only shows him singing, it shows the battle that's going on while he's eating a tomato, and it just
Oh, yeah.
and it just you see the tomato dripping down his chin, and you see like I think it was during the part of the battle where it looked like the humans were losing is when he was singing.
So, what I had sent you right here is literally the conversation between the mouth of Sauron and Aragorn. This is what I was referring to.
Yep.
Because I completely forgot after I was reading the description, I completely forgot that the mouth of Sauron and Gandalf know each other.
Yep. Yep. I remember this. But yeah, that entire scene was with the Pippin singing,
Yep.
and that entire scene was amazing because it showed the sadness. It showed the steward not fucking giving two shits.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the part for me a lot as I'm reading and I'm thinking about it. That was the part for me that that I also enjoyed, and I forgot to bring this up too before, and this is why Aragorn cuts off the mouth of Sauron's head
Yep.
with one stroke of the blade that was reforged. When I laugh and I completely forgot that he had said this. And who is this? Isildur's heir. It takes more to make a king than a broken elvish blade.
Yep.
Well, that pissed him off, so that he cuts him with one fucking stroke of Anduril, which I have in my room.
I love
And
that.
Gimli was the one that sat there and said, "I guess that concludes negotiations."
Yep. Gimli by far has been one of my favorite characters in the entire movie series. He's always been my
Right.
favorite.
You know, a lot of people do not believe that Gimli, the actor for Gimli, actually is very well known.
Yeah. They talk about it a lot where it's now resurfacing on like shorts and TikToks and all that other shit where they would talk about like the fighting practices and the actor for Gimli is like, all right, who am I hitting? You? All right, I'll hit you, then you, then you, and you.
Yeah.
Everyone else would be like, all right, this is how we're going to choreograph. Gimli's actors are like, I'm going to hit you first, then you, then you, then you,
Well,
and we're all
here's the
good.
thing that I think is funny that a lot of people tend to forget
Hmm.
is the actor for Gimli is the same actor in Indiana Jones.
Yep. He also played Treebeard.
Yeah, you could tell in the voice,
Oh,
in the
yeah.
beard. It's in the beard. I'm telling you, it's in the beard. And I want to say he was also in something else that I was very familiar with that I remember watching. I can't remember what it was.
Uh,
Um. Oh yes, In the Name of the King. In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale. I forgot he was in that movie because I forgot about that movie.
Name of the King. Why does that sound familiar?
It's the King. It's the name of the movie with Jason Statham.
That sounds.
I should beat your ass for not knowing this.
Oh yeah, it's been forever since I've seen this movie.
Yeah. I should
That's
hate.
right. He
I
played.
hate
The
you.
dude's name was Farmer.
Yeah.
I saw that
Farmer
movie
turned
ages
around and
ago.
became the king. Yeah. I have it. It's one of my favorites because Ron Perlman literally gets killed, and he literally takes on like 4 to 5 fucking dudes, and Ray Liotta's the bad guy in it.
That's right. I remember that movie now. Oh, he
Because
also
a
played
lot of
in.
people, because he was also in Once Upon a Time,
Yep, Aquaman,
Prisoners of the Sun. He's going to be in the new Aquaman movie.
and he was in the first one too.
Yeah, he's the Brine King.
Yep.
I know a thing or two.
I am currently looking at. Oh, he's also on the TV show Psych. I am currently looking at his IMDb page before we get off, and
Ha, that's
he's
funny because
still
so am
voicing
I.
Gimli.
Yeah.
He's doing Gimli in the newest Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria.
Yep. He
Shows
was
you how.
also in Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, the video game.
Oh, I did not know that. Legend of the Seeker. Yeah, yeah, he's done a lot of shit.
He's very well known. I mean, I don't think anybody literally goes into acting and they don't, when they hear John Rhys Davis, anybody who's anybody knows him.
Yeah, yeah, he's done quite a lot, and
Yeah.
he's he's a very
When
well
he
known actor.
wasn't Gimli, he was my favorite as Salah in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to say he was also in Game of Thrones, but I don't think that's accurate.
No, I don't think he was. I don't think he
But
was. But
I've
Sean
seen
Bean
him in a
was.
few other things too. Huh?
Yeah, I know Sean Bean was.
Well, yeah, Sean Bean was. He was Boromir, and then he was Ned Stark.
Yep. And then he died. I really
But
want to
I
know
want to
what.
say there was a recent movie that I watched that had John Rhys Davis in it, and it was a very popular movie, and I can't remember what the name of the movie was. It might have been one of those that he was in it but not credited for it.
Oh.
I don't remember. I just know I've seen him in a lot of things. He's very iconic.
Right now, the only ones that are in is the Gates. Oh,
It's probably Anaconda that I'm thinking of because I think I watched one of the other Anacondas that he was in.
he's even in a Batman audio thing called Batman Unburied. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh yeah, there it is. There it is, right there. You
Hey,
hear Batman and boom. Yep, I gotta.
I like listening to
Oh,
the.
that's what he's in that I'm thinking of that I remember seeing him in.
What's
Wow,
that?
that's an old fucking movie. Helen of Troy.
Huh. But anyways, guys, we're a little bit over our time frame. We shall talk at you
Just a
later.
wee bit.
Just a little bit. Well, we have a good reason. We got to talk about Lord of the Rings
And John Rhys Davis.
and John Rhys Davis and every alpha male's wet dream, Sir Christopher Lee.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got posters of him.
Chuck Norris has posters of him. Okay.
Everybody has a poster of him. You don't breathe on this earth without knowing who Christopher. You don't breathe on this earth without knowing who the fuck Sir Christopher Lee is.
Right. All right, guys. We shall talk at you later. You guys have fun. Let us know what your favorite.
Band.
Let us know what your favorite favorite part of the movie was. Catch you guys later.
That means he also did kind of screaming too. Remember that. And this is Anime Shogun and Global Outcast. We're signing out, fuckers.